Hello everyone, hope you have been doing great. Today we're going to talk about data collection and interview under research methods. What are the methods of collecting data? And one of them is interview. That's something we're going to focus. I'm not going to talk about mixed methods today because our last video was all about mixed methods. So I'm just going to recap it a little bit. The research methods, is a tool to explore problems and to solve it. So there are few slides here under mixed methods which have been already discussed last week, so you can go back to our last video and then take a look at it. So going back to mixed methods is why it is important is because it combines both quantitative and qualitative research methods, and quantitative research methods sometimes might not might fail to bring in the implicit information, like the tacit informations, but the qualitative research will bring those information into play. For example, the voice, the tone, how a person speaks, and everything that comes when you do a qualitative research through observation and interviews, and which something you cannot find through a quantitative research method. Here is a video for you to watch, and also from the last video as well I made for you. Dr. John Creswell talks about mixed method. It's a very good video. Go to YouTube and then take a look at it, and you better understand what mixed method is. Here are some research steps. You begin with the problem. You review your subject area to find problem area, and then you investigate the problem area to define a research problem. Either you want to find a research method, data collection method, and then, or maybe you might want to use a theoretical background to whether that will address the problem. And then from there you analyze the data, and then you come up with the conclusion and figure it out how to solve the problem, the reason of the problem, or any other recommendations. Okay, just take a look at that. And methods of collection, there are different ways of collecting data, different methods. Field research is one of the methods. You go to the field, look at things, you interview people, do the focus interview or group interview, things like that. You have questionnaires and surveys. You prepare certain questions and ask people to answer those questions, or do the survey questions and then send it out, maybe a hard copy, or maybe you email the survey questions and people will answer. But the way you design your survey questions should help you better understand the topic itself. First you need to find the problem of the topic, and then what kind of questions will address your the research topic. That's something you need to figure it out, and then only you will be able to come up with the right questions. And field research questionnaires and surveys are the primary source of information, because you individually work on it on your own. Documents and records, reviewed journal articles are also the source for collecting data, but they are more of secondary sources because those data have already been prepared and made ready by other people, and then you can just go go there and then find information. Observation is another. You have either the direct observation or participant observation, and then you write a report. That way also you can collect data. And talking about methods of collecting data, interviews, that's something we're going to focus, because your next week assignment is to interview someone and then write a report. Okay, so that's why interview is one of the the methods of data collection. So there can be different kinds of interview, like informal and or conversational, where you would not have your questions ready as such, or as such questions, but rather you meet the persons and then you start with the informal sort of a conversation, and either standardized or open-ended questions, or maybe a follow-up questions as well. And you have a structure and semi-structured interview, where you have you'd have designed the questions, and those are the specific questions under which your interviewee or the participants will answer the question. And again, talking about interviews, whether it can be an in-person or email or phone or follow-up, depending on your convenience, and also what type of the questions will help you better understand the topic. So that is something you will do. So interview is a free form of art. So before you interview someone, make sure that you know the subject, and also the persons and his or her expertise and subject matter expert as well. Make sure you establish a trust with the persons, so that way the person would be the interview would be willing to share his or her thoughts and ideas, and that way you can get much better information. Listen to them properly, so that also one of the ways you can establish trust with the persons. Talking about other useful interview tips, always make sure that you have a tape recorder, but make sure that the interview is willing, it does agree with you recording the interview, because that is an ethical question. Also, you take notes at the same time, because sometimes the tape recorder might not work after you get home, and then you find that nothing has been recorded, then that's sad. So make sure and you do your homework after you get home. And also make sure that you find a quiet place, so that way both interviewee and interviewer will not be disturbed, so that way you can focus on the topic, and then interview the person. Make sure that you ask the tougher questions in the later part of the interview, at the later part of the interview, because if you start with the very tough questions, that might be very confusing, and then also you might not get a much better answer from the interview as well. So try not to ask the yes no questions. Don't begin the question with do, rather begin the question with WH, for 5W and 1H, like where, why, how, when, something like that. And then don't be nervous, okay? Because even interviewees to some extent nervous, because the interview would be wondering what kind of question you might ask. Make it more conversational, so that way, and dress appropriately. Don't overdress, okay? So these are some of the basic concepts of the collecting data, and also the interview as one of the the methods of collecting data as well. And again, these ideas I brought, the borrowed, or the source is from this book, and most of the ideas are already out there as well. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.